Evening, people. How you doing? Welcome to the Sports Therapy Association podcast. My name is Matt Phillips, in case you're not aware of the voice yet, creator of One Chat Live. And we are here every Tuesday, recorded live on YouTube channel for Sports Therapy Association, bringing you fantastic guests from around the world who are together, hopefully trying to put a little bit of the evidence back into soft tissue therapy. This month, we've been focusing on business. So we've had some incredible speakers and opportunities for people to look at the business side of things. We know we've talked about the manual therapy side of things. We've talked about other skills you can do and different CPD courses. We've talked about different parts of what we do, pelvic health for male and female. We've talked about all sorts of different things. But this month, it's been really looking at the money on the table, the business side of things. So if you have been listening to the podcast and you've enjoyed it, then just to nag you again, do please take a couple of minutes to leave a rating and a review, as long as it's going to be good. Obviously, if it's not going to be good, then just ignore that advice. But yeah, if you do want to support us and help us appear higher in the search rankings, which is what it's all about, to help our guests' message get out there, then yeah, just that little 5-star thing really makes a big difference, and a few kind words as well goes a long way. If you do want to join us live, like I say, it's every Tuesday at 8 o'clock in the evening. That's UK time. So at the moment, we're GMT +1 because it's summer. And the advantage of joining us live, as I always say, is you can network loads. You can mix with other sports therapists and sports massage therapists. And it's not just for that particular discipline. You can, there's also physios and osteos and chiros join us sometimes, which is nice as well. So it's kind of a multidisciplinary thing. And if you do come along, then I can bring up your name and your message on the screen, which is always nice. A flash of your logos. For example, Nikki Mansfielder said, "Evening all." And what a gorgeously sunny one at that. It is absolutely divine out there, and it makes the UK such a happy place to be, isn't it? So thanks for joining us, Nikki. Claire Walker has also come in as well. Good evening all, says Claire. And hi, Claire, how are you? And Catherine Reimer is here as well. Evening, everyone. And other people are coming in as we speak. So it's a nice opportunity to come along. If you have got an hour on Tuesday evenings, you're welcome to join us. Right, so before I get into tonight's guest, just a huge thanks to last week's guests. Gemma Oliver and Andy Hosgood were with us talking about how to optimize client experience. If you're not watching the live YouTube stream, then you can't see what's on the screen. It's just a flash of those two. But sadly, I seem to have cut off Gemma Oliver's face from the nose up. Sorry about that, Gemma. It was a great episode and really looked into some key areas where you might think you are helping your client, but you might have missed a few things out. And that goes all the way from what's on your website, all the way through to the initial consultation, through to the follow-up, through to contacting them again, all the ways you can look after client and keep that business functioning. Because at the end of the day, I think most businesses who do work with people will agree that optimizing client experience is very important, isn't it? If you do want to listen to that, then it's available as a podcast on all popular apps, or you can go to the YouTube channel. Or also, just a little reminder here, if you go along to the STA105.co.uk, which is our website, then you've got links to all the different places you can listen to it, i.e. Spotify. You've got a link there. Again, you can't see this if you listen to the podcast, but there's a little nice splash screen of our website there. There's a link to Apple Podcasts. There's a link to Google Podcasts. There's a link to Pocket Casts if you're using Android. Respect if you're using Android. Well done for not selling your soul. And also, you can just stay on that website on the STA.co.uk, and I upload all of the videos there as well for you to listen to, with show notes as well, which is interesting if you're looking for links about things we've talked about and how to contact the guests and further information and all that sort of stuff. You can also go to YouTube. That's the advantage of YouTube. It's got a much bigger shelf life than Facebook, as we might mention later on. And on YouTube, you've got all our episodes, all 104. And obviously tonight's will be on there as well, because that's where we go out live. And also a little shout out as well to the Women in Sports Therapy podcast, which is part of the Sports Therapy Association. And those episodes are lining up nicely on there now. Actually, the fourth one out has just come out. It's not up on YouTube yet, but it's available on all podcast apps. And that's an interview with the fantastic Dr. Claire Minchell about Claire's career as a woman in the industry. I haven't heard it yet. It's only just come out. It's fresh off the blocks, but it's bound to be, if Dr. Claire Minchell's involved, it's bound to be amazing. But you have got 3 other episodes up there which are covering everything from periods, excessive blood loss, deficiencies, anemia, women's pelvic health, endometriosis, menopause, perimenopause. What more could you ask for? It's not just for women. Let's stress that straight away now. We've spent a lot of time on the podcast emphasizing how if you're seeing women, it kind of useful to know about women a little bit. Okay, if they're walking through your door in pain. So guys, you need to do a little bit of homework as well. And these podcasts by Dr. Fiona Higgs and Debs Thurlow-Rowley are probably a great place to start, because they just put the education across in a fantastically accessible way, and they're well worth a listen. So there we go. That is all said and done. So that leaves nothing further to introduce tonight's guest. We've been asked to have some social media marketing episode for quite a while now, and I'm glad to say it's finally here. It's well confusing. It seems to be changing all the time. Am I supposed to be doing a little dance in a tight dress on TikTok? Is that where we've got to now? I'm going to ask our guest who's going to be coming up now. Please join me. Put your hands together as if there's a live show for Gilly, not Gilly, I've said it right, Gilly Woodhouse. Hey, Gilly, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
All I had in my mind was Gilly.
Gilly.
Sorry about that. So thanks for joining us. Where are you in the UK? Is it wonderfully sunny where you are?
Yes, I'm in sunny Ruislip, and it's actually living up to its name for once.
Beautiful, amazing. It is lovely, isn't it, when the sun comes out? Everything's. But then again, I was saying to someone earlier today, if it was out all the time, like in California or something, it wouldn't make such a difference. I think England's special in the sense that suddenly you put a little T-shirt on, you can have a stroll, people are smiling. It's kind of good, isn't it?
I used to live in Greece, and I never got fed up of living in an oven.
Anyway, so great. Thank you very much for joining us. Really looking forward to this episode. People have been asking us a lot about help. I think it's something which confuses an awful lot, particularly younger therapists or even older therapists who are being told you've got to modernize and get with the technology. Do you find it's something that holds a lot of therapists back when it comes to being successful in their business and marketing?
Yeah, definitely. It scares the pants off a lot of people. And they think, oh, I really got to sell my soul on social media just to get a few customers through the door. And they don't know what to post about, and they feel very self-conscious and fearful of judgment, not only from anybody in the community watching, but also their own peers. So that tends to, all turn into a big problem that they just can't, they feel they can't surmount easily, and so they just push it aside. And it's a shame because I think I've built my business on that, a global business on social media. It is a fantastic range of platforms that can change your business. But once you understand how to use it, it's a lot easier. And I spend a lot of my time, I've been doing it today with clients, just removing those fear blocks and helping them to see why and how to use it efficiently and effectively. So it brings those new patients, new clients in. And when it's done right, it's rapid.
Yeah, it must be very rewarding. It's interesting because I'm thinking, ironically, probably the people who need this information aren't that aware or happy about how to listen to a podcast, which is one reason why I moved to YouTube, because I think YouTube is quite a friendly place which people go to and they know quite a lot. And it's people like videos, I think. It's amazing. A number of times even at Therapy Expo last year in November, after we did a load of presentations, I had people going, and where do I listen to a podcast? And I was like, seriously? But then I realized we all live in our echo bubble. If we know about the technology and we're spending our time, everyone in this room is just totally savvy with the technology, so they don't need to know about it. You can all go away. But I'm hoping the people who download it, that my hope is they're in the shadows and they're a little bit nervous and they are a bit fearful, like you say. Yeah. So a lot of what you say is going to help them. It must be very rewarding, to help somebody get over that.
Yeah, I love doing that. Just helping them to realize it's not about them. It's about those people that are struggling with whatever physical problem they've got. They've got pain, and it's getting to them and making it about them and not about yourself. And once you take that focus away from yourself, it's so much easier.
That's good. That's
loads of tips all around that, because I mean, the first key thing is that it feels like you're broadcasting to the entire world and everyone's watching and judging, and you're saying too many times and you mess up and all the rest of it. And then you just think, oh, I can't do this. Forget it. I just said
I'll let it out, don't worry.
Yeah. Good. You're going to be editing a lot. But if you think about that, you're actually only ever talking to one person, your next client, on their phone, then it becomes so much easier.
That's pretty cool.
To
nice way of
talk
looking
to
at
one person, it's very powerful. And the people watching it, the person watching it, will feel that, because it's just me talking to you, one person. You, Gary, you, Claire, you, Nikki, one person.
I can tell already it's going to be a powerful episode. You
Yeah.
speak and I can hear the room just go. It's nice. I love that ideas.
Yeah.
We're gonna have lots of that. I'm just got to jump in there because welcome Gary. Gary, the founder of the STA, is in the house as always. And I just want to mention, I've already made a mistake. I'm sorry, Gary. But yeah, I saw the West Women in Sports Therapy edition being announced. Apparently, it's not actually quite out yet. It's just being edited. It will go live next week, which explains why it's not on YouTube. I thought the podcast was already out. So next week is when Dr. Claire Minshall with Dr. Fiona Higgs and Deb Thurlow-Rowley will be live, or will be out for you to listen to on Women in Sports Therapy podcast, or WIST as it is officially abbreviated to. Thanks, Gary, for the heads up on that. An evening to Glenn Murphy. Thanks for joining us live as well. Other people are still coming in. And thanks for joining us live, people. So, social media. I remember asking you off air, were you on MySpace? And I saw your face go, oh my God, does he remember me? My alternate ego. But it wasn't that at all.
I didn't have so much glitter in my hair back then.
I find that hard to believe. But yeah, I mean, I'm of that age where MySpace was probably, I remember Audio Galaxy as well, which was a music sharing thing, and LimeWire and all that. But MySpace really took off, didn't it? I had to do a little research for this. It was before Facebook.
By it. I just thought, this is amazing. You could meet people and just chat. I was living in Athens at the time, freshly divorced, bored, kids in bed, so I wasn't going out much, and so I could just chat to people and find out what they were doing in their lives. And I just thought, how cool is this? I can just talk to them, and I don't have to go out with them or anything like that. I just can chat to people and have a conversation and not feel stuck there by myself.
You can switch them off. You've got the power, you've got the control.
Yeah.
That all disappeared eventually when people started recording each other's screens, and like you could get ISP addresses, and it all became a bit. For a while, it was wasn't it? A lovely outlet, like you say, where it was a really nice way of meeting people and sharing music in particular. Then Facebook came along and just defeated MySpace. I think I found down here, I didn't realize that apparently Justin Timberlake bought MySpace for $35 million. I don't think that was the most successful business venture that anyone's taken out. I don't even know if it's around these days, but that soon disappeared, doesn't it? And became Facebook for a long time.
Yeah.
But we've got so many others now, and it's just off the top of my head. I mean, I kept up with Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, begrudgingly I started using. But now it's just gone. Snapchat started to be something amongst my younger students, which I thought they were just sharing pictures of themselves and then regretting it. I realize it's more than that now. And then now, of course, TikTok seems to be taking things by storm. And I'm finding professional people like our mutual friend, Mr. Tim Allardyce, saying TikTok's the place to be, Matt. I'm like, seriously? Really? Is that what it's all going now? But you can't be in all of them, can you? I really want to know how. My first question to you will be, how do you decide what's worth going on?
Right. Number one, where are your potential clients hanging out? Because depending on them and their demographic is where you need to be. So, for instance, if you like, I don't know, you like working with young mums, young families like that, well, you're probably not going to find them on LinkedIn. So don't bother wasting your time over there. But if you are working with perhaps you're in a city area, lots of offices, a lot of professionals, get yourself on LinkedIn. And if you are working with the younger set, get onto Instagram and and get onto TikTok. So I think it's really important to be where your audience is and focus on that. And, 2 or 3 maximum, probably enough.
That's interesting because it ties in quite a lot with what Gemma and Andy were saying last week in terms of find out who your perfect client is, your ideal client who you'd love to spend time with, and that's who you should be marketing to, which kind of I had to stop and think about a little bit, because I always grew up, and probably to my disappointment, thinking, right, I'm just going to hit everybody. I'm going to get the office people on LinkedIn and the business. I'm going to get the younger generation on whatever it is, but it's become impossible to do that now, isn't it? It's just too many outlets.
I'm going to make you choose. So, I mean, in my case, I've focused on osteopaths, but other people come to me as well. But I've become well known in that niche. But I could help any small business. But if I was out there going, hello, any small business, hello, here I am, I can help you, I would probably be shouting down a deep, dark hole for the rest of my life. And the odd person would come along. But if you get really specific, it's so much easier, because then when you're in clinic, you can listen to what they're complaining about. That's where your marketing lies. So if they're saying, oh, I've got such a lot of pain in my knee now, I've had to give up golf. There you go. Flip it around. Have you had to give up golf because of all that pain in your knee?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get more people nodding. Yeah. How does he know that? Has he been listening to me? Is he in my head? So, the more you listen to what I call perfect patient, but ideal client, the more you'll hear them giving you the marketing words that you need. Like even they might say, got a bit of a crunchy shoulder. Can you help me with that? That's, it's not a technical term, but if you hear someone using a sort of strange phrase, don't be afraid to put that out there and say, are you suffering with a crunchy shoulder? Because other people go, yeah, it does feel weird,
Clever, I like it. So you're using the vocabulary you hear in clinic to then find your audience. So rather than saying, are you suffering from an ACL rupture, which I'm sure some people think, oh, that's what I need to do to show my technology and what I know.
Yeah,
you need to be saying, have you got crunchy shoulders? Brilliant.
Yeah, get down into their language, so it resonates with them. Absolutely. I go crazy if I start seeing posts about musculoskeletal problems. Whoever says that?
I think that's one of the dangers of therapists spending too much time maybe following other peers or people who they respect, because that is the language that a lot of these therapists use.
Yeah, exactly. And that's great peer to peer, of course. But you've got the curse of knowledge now. You've forgotten what it's like not to know what it's like to be me. And that's where I think is my secret weapon, is that I'm your girl in the street who doesn't know this stuff. So I say, stop it with your MSK and all the rest of it.
Stop it with your MSK and your other acronyms.
We don't know what you're talking about.
It's interesting you mentioned, I'm glad you reminded me. So you are kind of very well respected and known in the osteopath community, but you do see far more than that. If people look you up, it is OsteoBiz on, where are you? Is that Instagram, OsteoBiz, or?
It's Gilly Woodhouse on Instagram, OsteoBiz with Gilly Woodhouse on Facebook.
Okay, yeah. So people will see, and even in your website as well, there's an OsteoBiz happening there as well, isn't there? Yeah. There you go. So, but I don't want, I'm putting that out there now because I don't want people saying, oh, it's all about osteos, because one of the things we were talking about as well is, although, like you just said, you've justified it now, to get your business going, you went down that road of working in particular with osteopaths, but the kind of things, the advice you're giving aren't limited, are they, by professional disciplines? No. I mean, business is business, especially when you're working with people in pain.
Yeah, exactly. And I would work exactly the same with any other type of therapist. It's systems efficiency within clinic, patient journey, and getting that marketing absolutely spot on so that you get nice and busy.
Fantastic. Right. So I've got some questions here, as always. Oh, look, I was just thinking if anyone's got a question, and guess who pops up? Becky's there already. She's probably got Becky Carroll. If you're not familiar with Becky, she's definitely a person worth knowing. But she's always got some great questions. I think she prepares them before the show. I think she spends time, I don't know, on a treadmill or something, getting some hours in and writing in her flip chart what she's going to ask tonight. But I'm going to go straight with Becky's question, if that's all right with you, Gilly. So, Becky, thanks for joining us as always, Becky. And Becky says, would there be a bad social media presence as far as you're concerned? What does that look like to you? I told you she's going to be trouble.
Nice question, Becky. I would say boring posts that are just text, no images, no videos. I saw one Facebook page once that just said blog link, blog link, blog link. It was awful. I just thought, oh my God. So yeah, you need to mix it up. So, you can have things like quotes from your favorite celeb or footballer or sportsman, whatever. You can have tips, things that you're giving out all the time to your clients, and then give those tips out. Go to canva.com and create memes, which is the images with text on. It's dead easy to make those. It's things we have, because the news feed's super busy. We've got to make them stop. So if it's just a bit of text, no one's stopping.
Why do you think people do? I mean, because there's quite a lot of boring stuff out there. What do you think makes someone do that? Why aren't they able to stop before they post it and go, hold on, that's a bit boring, let's put a bit of colour in there?
I think they just think they need to get something out there, and they tick the box, but it's not going to bring not going to bring any new patients or clients.
It's a good question, Becky. Nikki's in the house, got your back as always. Great question, Becky. And Becky has just said, are you spying on me, Matt? Just with the normal software, Becky, nothing you don't know about. You could take it down if you want to, but it's up there. So it's, don't start blaming me now and getting all kind of like personal privacy in space. Anyway, so there we go.
Into here.
Right, so great. So that's a great question, Becky. Keep them coming, people, because obviously you're the real therapists, and I'm interested what problems you guys have had or what initiatives you've had. Share anything you want. Otherwise, I have got questions down here, and I will work through the list. So I've I've already said, should therapists be on all social media platforms? And you've said, no, look for where your clients are hanging out. And you've got to, these days, funnel it down.
Yeah.
And then I think might have been, I can't remember if it was Tim or Andy, because they're both great spokespeople and educators. But it's kind of, even if you do funnel it down, there will be this kind of reverberance, and this kind of sphere will appear around them where you catch other people as well. But you've got to start off with a funnel, and then it will spread out with brothers and sisters and wives and husbands and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What about, here's a good one, frequency. That seems to be, I mean, I once went down I think it's when I experimented with Hootsuite. I just went, I think, too much into what time of day you should post, what days you should post on. Is it useful for some people to get that deep into it, or what's the deal?
You can get the insights from the back of your pages now, which gives you a clue as to when your particular audience, because every audience will be different. So it won't be like, oh, if this is your job, your people are on at 9 o'clock or something like that. Think about perhaps the habits of your particular ideal client. So you might catch your commuters on the bus, on the train, going to work, catch them then, and lunchtime and after work. A good time tends to be around about 9:30, when the kids are down, dinner's done, and people are flicking through their phones on the sofa. So experiment, look at your insights anyway, just to see if that's giving you any good clues. But think about mums at the school gate at 3 o'clock, that would be an obvious time as well.
How easy is it to look at, if someone's listening to the podcast and they're like, insights, what are you talking about? How do I get my insights? How easy is it to see this sort of detail with various social media?
Yeah, you can go into, I can't think, it will be called insights on your business page, and go and have a look at what they'll give you graphs and everything. So it's quite easy to see.
And this is across the different platforms on, I suppose, particularly on Facebook, but also on Instagram. And this is an advantage, I guess, of having a business. There's something maybe we could move on to. There seems to be confusion as to whether you should have a page, a group, a business profile, a personal profile. Can you help us clear that up a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So you should build your business page off the back of your personal profile. You can have your personal profile as locked down as you want to, because some people are very private and they don't want clients seeing their dog or their kids running about. Absolutely fine. But always make sure your profile is completely filled in with your information as where you work and the link to your business page. So if you call Bob Smith, it's less likely to work. But if someone has a more unusual name, like mine's fairly unusual, I'm probably the only one pops up pretty much on Facebook. And at least you can find my business page off my profile page and go and interact with me professionally, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm easygoing. A lot of osteos made friends with me on my page, and I just thought, yeah, we'll come on in, let's have a party. I don't mind, but some people, want to keep a very distinct line, and that's absolutely fine. But just make sure that if someone, because Facebook is a massive search engine. So for people, so if you find if they hear of you and they find you on Facebook, at least they can be diverted through to your business page. A Facebook group can be a really good idea as well. I've got a Facebook group with about 5,300 osteopaths all over the world now, and it's a huge, thriving forum. Which is amazing. So, you can do that locally. You could have some sort of local group for health, for fitness, or whatever you wanted that to be for, and encourage people to come into that. It's a great way, because people will see more of your posts in there than they will on your business profile, business page rather.
Perfect.
So
that makes sense. And as far as groups go, private or visible, or does that kind of depend on what you're trying to achieve?
Yeah, you'll be more visible, but it takes a bit more work, because you've got to look after it, monitor it, make sure no one's messing about.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it can be a great way to maybe for a focus to get people off the sofa and running. 5K, or perhaps with a purpose in mind. Quite a good idea.
How about you mentioned there something that reminded me of something Gemma Oliver said last week regarding put a little bit of you in there personal wise, make sure that all of your marketing isn't about kind of business. Now and again, tell them what you've been doing to show you're human.
Yeah.
Is that the advantage maybe of having a personal profile where you do show a little bit of your home life or something, just carefully controlled, obviously, but is that advantageous, or again, does it depend on the individual? Is there a risk of being too much to professional and coming across as not human? Or
yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't say put it on your personal profile necessarily, unless you are using that a bit for business. But definitely on your business page, be you, be truly you. Don't try to be something professional, because it comes across as stiff and boring. So definitely be, if you like to go for a run up on the hill and as the sun's rising, let's have a video of that and just talk about how it makes you feel and how it energizes you for the day. Share that with us, because you'll inspire people to say, do you know what, I'm going to start getting up. That's especially this time of year when it's largely nice weather and you're more inclined to go and do something like that. So share what you do to keep fit, or share how you warm up, share how you cool down, what do you do about injuries and all the rest of it. How do you handle that? That's really, really helpful, because people don't know this stuff. They don't know.
Great advice. Very interesting. And I guess it's like just showing you're human as well. It's important. because people want to come and see a human. That's what Gemma said last week. People want to see a person. They want to see a real person. They don't want to see some robot.
And all you're doing is building the know, like, trust. So they need to know who you are, what you do, how you can help them, where you are. They need to like you, else they're not coming. If they go, oh, that guy's weird, or that girl's a bit odd, not very, they won't come, because they're just, they're not connecting with you. So they need to like you, and then they need to trust you, because they're coming to exchange money for your services, and they need to trust that you're going to look after them, give them fantastic service, and make a difference to them. So
no, like, trust.
No, like, trust. So I mean, some of my clients have come to me after in the last week. One said, oh, I came to a workshop you did in 2016, and now I'm signing up with you. Sometimes it takes a while. Wow. Another guy said, oh, I started my business the same time you did 9 years ago. And I'm like, what took you so long?
Wow, I don't have to react to that.
But now he's ready. But equally, it can be, I was doing a live at Rice Lido a few years ago, and my hair was blown out, and I was, it was mayhem. And a girl I'd never heard of was watching it, and she went, I like her, I could work with her. And it was that quick, and she became a VIP. She said, how much? And she was in.
Excellent.
So it can be quick, and it can take a bit longer. That's why that posting needs to be consistent and persistent. And you asked that before, I didn't answer it. If you're not busy enough, every day post. And if you are busy enough, don't stop, because otherwise you go boom, bust, and you stop posting, and then you go quiet, and then you go, oh, blimey, and you start posting again, and you get busy again. So keep 2 or 3 a week going out, and schedule them so you save yourself a whole bunch of time, because otherwise it's hard work trying to come up with something once a day and post it.
Interesting. I'm going to put a pin in some of my other questions about scheduling, different ways of scheduling, automated tweets and stuff, whatever it is. But before then, Cherry Moore, I'm taking a gamble with Cherry. I'm pretty sure it's Cherry. Sorry, Cherry. It's Cherry, isn't it? I think it's Cherry. Cherry Moore says, hello. Do you think you need to tailor posts per platform, i.e. not just using the same post for Facebook and Instagram?
I think now, not so much for those two. Yes, it used to be. There was quite a bigger difference, but I think that they've leveled off a fair bit now as to who's there. Whilst there is a slightly younger audience on Instagram, there's still quite a few of my vintage and your vintage.
Talking to you, Cherry, not me. She knows I'm well young.
But I mean, so TikTok, for instance, and LinkedIn, no way would you put the same thing on both of those, because they are too different. So yes, if you're on LinkedIn, then you are presenting yourself as a professional, as an expert in your field, and you can really demonstrate that on there, and it's a little bit more serious. You can still put some humor in it and be yourself, let your personality come through, and even dial it up a little bit so you come across well. You can write articles on LinkedIn which do help to show you as an expert in your field. And of course then TikTok, well, I wasn't on it actually, Matt, until the weekend when my 7-year-old step granddaughter, she's not mine, but she went, can I have your phone, Gilly? And the next thing I know, 7 years old, I've got TikTok, and she's posted 2 videos of her and this little dog I'm looking after dancing, and she's doing all the stuff. Then she goes, now we need to get some likes. I was like, oh my God.
Incredible, isn't it? 7 years old. Absolutely unbelievable.
I know. So
I was in a Czech college recently, and we were kind of shadowing some different lectures and things. And at the end of it, one of the younger classes, the teacher said, oh no, these young girls, I don't know, 15 years old, they wanted to do something for you, and they want to sing a song. So I was like, okay. So the kind of 4 of us, there was people from different countries, went to watch them, and they started doing this like a TikTok style dance thing and singing, but it was this British, I don't know what type of music it was, but it was just basically pure swearing, and it was just a minute of obscenities and hand gestures and inappropriate hand placement from these 15-year-old girls. But it was just the fashion. They didn't even know what they were doing.
No.
So we all kind of sit there and nodded and went, yeah, that's really good. Nice. Well done. That's great. But your parents are very proud of you with that. But so it can get confusing. Anyway, so Cherry, yeah, I hope that's answered your question. Come back if there's something else. It always annoys me that the organizational side of things, for like an Instagram, you still can't have links. So if you're putting something on Facebook, you can have a live link and people can click on it. But Instagram, a link means nothing. It'll probably, I always worry it'll infuriate people because they'll see a link there and it's unclickable, which bugs me. So that can waste some time. Is there any way around things like that?
Yes, you can put a thing called Linktree on your profile on Instagram, and then you can have any numbers of links on there. So you can have a link to your blog, a link to your podcast, a link to a landing page with a special offer, a link to your website, a link to your booking page.
Cool.
So that gets around that nicely.
Very nice. Okay, questions are still coming in. Let's bring up Nikki Mansfield has a question here. Nikki says, I'm seeing a huge majority of peeps in our profession interacting solely through our personal profiles. Maybe because Facebook for Business keeps changing and getting harder to figure out how to use. Yeah. So have you noticed that at all? Is Facebook for Business getting a bit complicated? So people are using their personal ones instead?
I can't say that I've noticed that, no. Just keep posting, plenty of videos and images that's going to get people's attention. And
follows it up. She says, could it be because people like people? Maybe there is a movement.
Yeah, so you must come across on your business page. What a lot of people do is where the little circle is, they bang a logo in there, and then they've got a picture of the building or something. Well, who is it?
Yeah.
Who's behind that? I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's male or female. I don't know what they look like. I don't know if I like them or not, and I don't know anything about them. So change that profile picture, get a nice close up of your little face, and change the profile cover as well quite often, because everyone gets notified you've changed it. So it's a good way to bring them back.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Okay, scheduling. I pinned that in on the wall. Again, it's going to be depends, but should more people be using it to avoid wasting time?
Yeah, and you can do that on Facebook, and in Creator Studio you can schedule to go out onto both if you want, which does save a huge amount of time. I'm a big fan of batch working, rather than, oh my God, I haven't put a post out today, I've got to try and quickly do something, get it out there, and it's sort of a bit of a panic and a bit of a rush and perhaps not very well thought through. But equally, if you're doing something and you just think, oh, that would be a great video, then take it, get it down onto your phone. But you can schedule onto both, and quite a few of my clients do that, the diligent ones, and they'll say, they're treating, and it's, and then they'll go, oh, pop, there's that pop, another one, pop. It's like little mushrooms popping up on their social media, and they've sort of forgotten what's coming, so that's a great way to keep that presence there, and you won't annoy people by by posting often. The post only gets shown to, now it's probably less than 5% of your page followers.
Yeah.
So hopefully a different 5% will see one post or more.
Well, I was going to say that because on Facebook it is such a small section of especially if you've built up your Facebook and you've got kind of like, I don't know, most people have got like over 1,000 friends on Facebook, especially if it's kind of a business orientated, because you just say yes to everyone, which another thing can cause problems, but generally you say yes to everyone. But yeah, you get such a small, you think you're sending it out to all of them, and it's probably such a small percentage of seeing it, but you can't control who's seeing it, can you?
No. So that's why you need it. A lot of videos, lives are the best thing you can do.
People
because
get
they'll
notified, right?
notify a lot of people, and quite often people will come back afterwards because they see the notification and you've already gone, but they'll be curious to know what you went live to talk about, so they're more likely to come and have a look.
And have you got any preference of lives? Again, I suppose you already said it depends on where your audience are going to be, but live on Facebook versus Instagram, you need to have done the homework previously and see.
Yeah, do both, mix it up, because you will have some same audience, but you'll also have some different audience where people say, "Oh, I'm only on Instagram, not on Facebook." But I would
some people. Go on. No, sorry, no, I interrupted.
Well, I was just going to say I would always be on Facebook, though. I'm a huge fan of it. Some people are starting to say, "Oh, it's not working anymore. It's going downhill. It's getting quieter." I don't agree, because don't tell the others. Communities on Facebook are magic. That's where that's networking on speed, basically. The communities that you have around you in Facebook groups, tens of thousands of people all sitting there waiting to hear from you.
Do go on. You've started now. You've opened up Pandora's box. So how can people make more use of this?
So join local groups.
Right.
Be very respectful of the admin. Join as yourself, not as your page, because ABC sports therapist or whatever. Who's that? No idea. Especially as it's a picture of a logo.
Yeah.
So get rid of that. But join as yourself, because people buy people. And mooch about in there, see what people are talking about. If you can be helpful, even if someone says, "Oh, I need an electrician, can anyone recommend someone?" Well, if you've got a mate who's an electrician, recommend them. What goes around comes around.
So this is marketing by being part of other communities and getting to know people. So not necessarily just selling your services everywhere. It's just getting to know other people and waiting for. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And so you could never reach that many people by walking around your community and going to the odd networking event. Could never meet that many people. So
very interesting. Sorry, Kerry. I had a 50-50 chance, didn't I? I got all Italian on you. I thought it might be Cherry. Sorry, Kerry. It's Kerry. Sorry, my apologies. Becky Carroll's brought up a good point, and I worry about this a lot. I think it's probably because I've been using social media for so long and I've sent out so many posts and I worry that people just get sick of seeing me all the time on there. And Becky kind of reminds me that this is probably the case. Becky says, "I found myself unfollowing businesses like Matt of late who clog up my newsfeed. I guess posting too frequently can have the opposite of the desired effect also." She didn't say like Matt, just in case she needs the podcast, but that's what she meant in between the lines. But is there a danger of posting too much?
I don't think so, no. Okay. Because Facebook are only going to show your post to around 5% of your followers. It's unless that page has only got 10 followers, you're not likely to see. So if you interact with a page and comment on things, then the algorithm goes, "Oh, they're interested in that page, so they're going to show you more of those posts." So
I think it's up to the audience, isn't it, to kind of, because looking at the other side of things, therapists getting their own feed clogged up and seeing too much of the same thing, then that's where you've got to play around with your favorites, haven't you, in Facebook and notification settings, and put kind of your top 30 in place, because you can control what you see to a certain extent using that.
Yeah, and you can select see all from a certain page or not. So it depends. If you're super interested in what someone's posting out there, then you can choose to see all of their posts. But yeah.
Okay, right. What else? I've got my list. Okay, let's move on to a little bit, because this is going a bit old school. But are websites now irrelevant then? Should people still have websites, and if so, who and which?
Yes, because when people are searching on Google in the middle of Bob at 3 o'clock in the morning, I worry about Bob. He's in agony and he's looking for a solution on his phone. He's already kicked the dog. He's fallen out with his wife and he's shouted at the kids because he's in so much pain and he's looking for an answer. We need him to land on your website, and he needs to be able to find an answer there to his problem. And he needs to be able to book in as well while he's there. And you've got about 3 seconds to hang on to him. So, so your website needs to be focused. It's your shop window, basically. It's like when you look through a window on the high street, you're having a look. Oh, are they my kind of clothes, or are they sort of grandma's kind of clothes? In which case, I'm not going in there. You're looking in. So, what are people seeing when they look in? Are they getting an idea of what you do, who you help? And so it's about the person looking in. It's not really about you. It's drawing them in through the door of your shop, if you like, to come in and have a look at your different pages.
So you're suggesting that predominantly audience are going to be sports therapists or sports massage therapists, that there should be a website there for that, so people can book in, find you. And is that got to be a time-consuming thing? There seems to be many alternatives to the kind of old-fashioned traditional WordPress, and that you haven't got to build your website from scratch anymore. You can use a lot of these pre-populated websites. Is it quite easy to do if everyone's got to have one?
It's relatively easy, but I must say, if you want to get found on Google, WordPress is still the best one.
Okay.
So a little bit harder to learn how to do it, but there's plenty of videos to show you how to do it, or you can get people to make them for very reasonable cost. You don't have to have a £5,000 website at all, but you do need to. You can't put plugins so easily on the likes of Wix and Squarespace. So you can create them very quickly, but they're not as Google friendly generally. So if there's a fair bit of competition in the area, yours might not get found as well as someone else who's got WordPress.
WordPress still the place to go then if you're trying to grow your business. And yeah, interesting. Yeah, I would agree with that. What about, I mean, you mentioned there you can get someone to do it for you. I'm interested in that. When it comes to certain businesses seem to reach a point where they're spending time sorting out their marketing and media and websites, and they're wasting money. I think we mentioned it in the last few episodes. You've got to work out what your hour's worth and figure out how much time you're playing around on social media. And then you might realize, I think Tim again said, when you look at it on paper, you realize you're actually spending more by doing it yourself. Probably doing a bad job than what you would by paying somebody to look after it on a monthly kind of wage.
Yeah.
Can it be cheaper than people expect, getting someone to look after the marketing side of things, social media?
Marketing on social media, it can be. You probably want a half decent virtual assistant or somebody like that to schedule stuff for you. I would still say be careful that you're not going to some sort of agency that just plonk out generic stuff that doesn't do anything, that people just spin right past. And so you're paying them money, you're putting it out there, and you're going, well, where are the clients? Why is this not happening? Because it's boring, because it's generic, because it lacks any kind of personality or character or enthusiasm. So we're always the best marketers for ourselves, again, because people buy people. I'm certainly Marmite. Most of us are, so if we're out there, I'm sure that I probably irritate a lot of people. I got that bloody woman again.
I find that hard to believe. So maybe not getting someone else to do your marketing, but definitely investing in a course or something, getting your own knowledge and confidence up. And then being able to do it yourself and take less time doing it rather than trying to work it out yourself.
I think that can be worth doing, so that you're constantly putting fresh stuff out there that includes you. Or if you've got a team that focuses on different members of the team to make sure everybody gets busy. That can be an issue where the clinic owner or the business owner is the one that's well known, and the other sort of perhaps part-time staff members are not very busy. So once they get focused on and we get some content out for them, that can raise their bookings and improve things that way. So
Okay, Claire's come with a question based on what you were talking about with regards to the website. Claire Walker said, just bringing your question up on the screen, Claire, is a booking system on website or Clinico or similar booking system better? So yeah, in your experience, having a booking system on your website or using kind of third-party application like Clinico or Sports Injury Fix or something where they can book in through them? Any
Yes.
preferences?
Yes. Yes, I know
Good
Sports
question.
Injury Fix. But Clinico's my personal favourite because I bolt stuff into it and make it a whole practice development toolkit, really. So you just need a book now button top right, because that's where our eyes go, apparently, cross and then down. So top right is the optimal space to put a book now button, and it's nice and bright, clear on every single page. So because they could come in and land on a blog post, then because you put it on Facebook or they did a search and your blog post came up. So wherever they land on your website, they need to have a book now button and capture them while they're there, and they read something and go, oh my goodness, this is great, this is what I want, and we need to get them booked in, especially if it's Bob at 3 a.m.
There you go. Oh, Bob. Yeah. Great. Follow up with another question if you want, Claire, if you got some more information about that, booking systems on websites. And Nikki's come in here with a question. Nikki says, the best responses I get from my posts and newsletters are the peeps that tell me that reading them is just like having me in the room with them. Same sarcasm, humor, irreverence, etc.
Exactly.
Again, it's personal, isn't it? Yeah.
Just being yourself, Nikki. Exactly. So yeah, just being yourself, not trying to be some, posh professional or something, but just being real. Absolutely. Because if people like that, which a lot of us do, they're just going to love it. And I've had the same said about me. When people have met me, they've said, oh my God, you're just like your blogs.
That's good. Yeah, then that means your marketing has worked.
Because I write like I think. So
that's what Andy Hosgood was talking about last week about client expectation. When they come into the clinic, they already know what they're going to find through your marketing, rather than coming in and suddenly thinking, well, you don't sound like the person who was in
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. It's nice that you great professionals all kind of join and come together and you're giving the same message. It's almost as if you're all talking common sense and that this is what we got to do.
Funny that.
Right. Yeah, funny that, isn't it? When the truth actually coincides.
Nikki's not a posh professional, she says.
Definitely not a posh professional.
I like her already.
Okay, I had one other question which was sent to me about blogs, writing blogs. You kind of mentioned for LinkedIn, which I think is really interesting. You can write articles on LinkedIn. I never put articles really on LinkedIn. I should do some of them. But
great elevating your status, that is, and your expertise.
And I guess, how do you decide? How do you monitor things like that? I mean, my final question for you is there ways of checking whether the time you're putting in and the money maybe you're putting in is actually worth it? How do you measure it?
I'm not huge at doing that, to be honest. But I know that the more that I put articles out, the more that I put videos out, the more that I give information and tips and things that I'm hearing. Do I have to do that Facebook stuff? Someone said to me this week, I'm going to do a video. Yes, you do have to do that Facebook stuff if you want more people in your clinic. So I don't particularly monitor all that because that bores me. All I know is people keep coming towards me from those activities. And I've had so many clients to come to me that were doing little or nothing. And then, I've got not enough patients. I don't know what to do. And once I sort of train them up on my ways of doing social media, I spoke to a guy earlier. He was in a right old mess when he came to me. Hardly any patients at all. He was really struggling. And now he's like, I've had to take on another person because I'm absolutely booked out.
Right.
And he said, I've dipped on my social media a bit. And I said, crank it back up because you need to keep this new girl busy. Let's focus on her now and get her booked up because she's about to start in about 10 days. So I was like, quick, get out there, loads of stuff about her and links to book her in, and off we go.
So without commenting directly about what he did to get better, but are there kind of the top 3 things which you think turn things around when people come to you and their business isn't as profitable or busy as they want? What are the top 3 things with regards to social media that they should be doing and they're not?
Actually posting.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get it perfect, get it done, get it out there.
Nice.
Talking to just one person, and video.
What do you mean by talking to just one person again? Oh, just remembering that
You're only ever talking to your next
I like that.
client, one person in the singular.
Mm-hmm.
So, those people who feel like they're broadcasting, the celebs on Instagram. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not everyone. Can you please talk to me in the singular?
It's very
I'm
good.
just Gilly on my phone.
Yeah.
One of the best girls is for doing this is an Aussie lady who does fitness stuff for over 40s.
Okay.
And she's like, okay, 10 more seconds. Come on, my friend. We're nearly there. 5, 4. And she's my friend.
Clever.
She's
Talk
talking
to one person.
me. She's not saying, come on, everybody. So really talk to your next client is the most powerful thing you can do, and eyeball them in the camera.
Those who listen to podcasts, you can't see the kind of Robert De Niro in the circle, 2 fingers, 1 finger thing that's going on. It's quite menacing, but it makes you stop and listen. Yeah, only talking to your next customer. Brilliant. And sorry, the third one, I cut you short when you said number 2. What did you say for number 3?
What did I say? Don't get it perfect, get it done.
Yeah.
Get it out there. Because a lot of people procrastinate about it. Oh, that video wasn't good enough. I stuttered in the middle or something. Just get it out there. Because again, you're just being you, just being real.
Okay, amazing. If people want to learn more from you, what have you got? You've got something. I mean, Tim was mentioning that he thinks there's going to be a little bit more of a recession coming back, and he told us, this is why, and he explained it. And you are doing a course, aren't you, on how to be prepared for it?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I just started putting out a 90-day recession-proof program, basically. So I'll look at all the systems you've got in place. I make sure that's all as efficient as it can be. I like systems to talk to each other, so you haven't got bits of paper like me, notes here and there. But it's all really efficient and time saving. Get that marketing sorted, and make sure the pricing and the model, the way you operate, is correct as well, so that you're maximizing your profits. Because what can happen is, with rising costs and not putting up fees or not looking at how that's structured, those profits get squeezed. And if we go deeper into a recession, it'd be really difficult to increase your prices then. So better to do it now.
Okay, so it's a 90-day. How do people connect with you? This is online, is it? Through
yes, I've sent you a link.
Yeah,
Matt.
Make sure that goes into the show notes. I might actually be able to paste it. No, I'll put it in the link notes. But if people go to Gilly Woodhouse, which is GILLY Woodhouse .simplero.com, SIMPLERO.com. That's the beginning of the link, but on the website, you may find it from there. But I'll make sure the links go in the show notes.
Yeah.
So you're going to say, so it's, what does it involve? It's meeting up with you.
Yep.
And you analysing their business.
Yeah, and I've got a team that we like Clinico very much, and because we can bolt stuff into it and make it super efficient. And I've got a team behind me that are all osteos or from osteo families, so they kind of completely get all of this sort of manual therapy world, and they set things up for the technophobes, because a lot of people are brilliant with their hands and they've got all these skills, but they hate doing the techie stuff. So they do it all and train people up on that. And then I'll put them through the paces with social media as well, and teach them all the strategies that I've touched on tonight. And then, make sure it's all working properly. The fees are right. I'm a bit of an ideas fountain, always looking at what else could they do, what else could they offer, because everyone's got different skill sets and different bolt-ons. They've learned to do extra things, perhaps like taping or something, or what could we put together, some sort of program or something that gives people an end result. So I always look at what could we come up with for that, extra ideas for different revenue streams.
Brilliant. Sounds intriguing. And I think we so many times in the last episodes we've had to do with focus on business, the importance of having someone else look at your business through a fresh pair of eyes, especially if they're a specialist who've worked with all sorts of different therapists, is amazing, because they can stand back and take a look, or even just ask the right questions so that you have a think and go, actually, I know what I should be doing now, just by opening that conversation up. So great stuff. Sounds very exciting. We'll make sure all of those links go into the show notes. If people want to follow you and what you do, where's the best place to follow you?
Facebook, I'm OsteoBiz with Gilly Woodhouse. Instagram, I'm Gilly Woodhouse. LinkedIn, I'm Gilly Woodhouse. I'm even Gilly Woodhouse on Twitter. You're not using that so much these days.
And also now we've heard you're also on
I'm on TikTok. Yeah,
TikTok as well. So look up Gilly Woodhouse TikTok and get those latest moves with what was the name of your dog?
The dancing dog. Yeah, Cherry the dog, and my granddaughter, who's an effervescent 7-year-old.
Beautiful. That's a winning combination. Brilliant. Not too personal sharing, but that's good. It shows you're human. Amazing. Thank you so much, Gilly, for your time. And as always, people, if you want the conversation to continue, then YouTube's probably your best bet. Go to the comments in YouTube. This video, YouTube's great because it's owned by Google, and so it just shows up. So it's got a big long shelf life. So if any comments do appear and I need to feed something back to Gilly, I'm happy to do that. Or you can just talk amongst yourselves on the YouTube channel. It's there, it's live, and it stays there forever. So any questions you got, you can put in the YouTube channel. Thanks again, people, to joining us live. Gilly, I'm going to sign out these people from the live lounge now. If you can hang around, I'll just say thank you to you afterwards. So don't click any buttons or anything. That'd be great. Not sure who we got next week. Working with a few possibilities. So if you'd like to know, then obviously follow the UK STA. We're normally UK_STA on most places on social media. Or you can follow me as well on Run Chat Live across everything, because no one else wanted the name Run Chat Live. So yeah, you can find me anywhere on Run Chat Live. Follow, like, and we will let you know who's going to be next week. But it's every week, Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. You can join us. Nikki Mansfield said, thanks, Gilly. And then she waited 6 seconds and she said, oops, and thanks, Matt, as well. Really had it in for me tonight, Nikki. We'll be talking later on. Thank you very much for joining us.
I think she said, thanks, Gilly, not thanks, Gilly.
She said, yeah, thanks, Gilly. Oh, my God, my name's tonight. Anyway, people, we will be back next week with another guest. And to finish off our focus on business, we hope you've found this evening useful, as useful as I have. There's loads of stuff there. I can't wait to listen back to as well on the podcasts, which will come out in a couple of days. So Gilly with a J, thank you once again. And thanks for joining us live, people. We will speak to you soon. Oh, before I do go, there was just something, as we're doing a business week, Big Gary pointed out last evening, there was a chat on the STA pages with James Davis, a financial advisor, and he spoke to STA members about pension planning, which was recorded, and it will be in the members port of the website later this week. So people who are members of the STA, that's obviously very linked to business, all about pensions and things. So keep an eye out for that if you are a member of the STA. And if you're interested in joining the STA, if you're a soft tissue therapist, doesn't matter, you haven't got to be a sports therapist or massage therapist. There's osteos, chiros, physios who are members as well. Then just go to the sta.co.uk. There's a big join button there and details of what you need to do. It's very cheap and very excellent. What more do you want? It's fantastic. So there we go. Thanks, people. And hopefully I'll see some of you live